started as a simple search, turned into something unexpected. I was just browsing looking at the usual range of laptop when one model caught my eye. The Asus TUF A14, but this one looked different. When I first came across the Asus TUF Gaming A14, I wasn't expecting much, just another gaming laptop, right? But the moment I picked it up, it felt different. What would you do if you found something that promises both but doesn't look like your typical gaming laptop? At first glance, you might not even realize it's a gaming laptop. The sleek design, with its durable metal and sturdy plastic finish, give it a professional look. The CNC machined corners and stylish hinges add that extra bit of flair that says, "I'm built to last," without the usual gamer aesthetics. But does it perform as well as it looks? Well, when I first picked it up, the feel was solid. The lid has slight flex when twisted, but it snaps right back with ease, which made me confident about its durability. And the best part, I could open it with just one hand. That small detail made a big difference in my daily use. Something so simple, but is so that the design thought about the real life usability. Plus, it's lightweight at 1.46 kilos, so carrying it around doesn't feel like a burden. But here's the thing, the display, while functional, isn't perfect. The bottom bezel is a bit thicker than I would like, and the other three are thin, which give it an okay screen to body ratio. It's not mind-blowing, but it's good enough for most tasks. As for the keyboard, it's surprisingly comfortable, and I'll be honest, the black keycaps can be hard to read without the backlight, and it only has basic white lighting. No RGB customizations here, which may disappoint some. Imagine the moment when you are deep into a game, the laptop hums beneath your fingers, the key clicks with the perfect level of feedback, your fingers across the spacious 16:10 glass touchpad that feels smooth and responsive, pulling you deeper into the experience. Despite the noise of fans working hard, the clever design keeps everything cool, the heat flowing out the back without bothering you too much. When it comes to the connectivity, the TUF A14 doesn't disappoint. On the left side, you will find a power plug, an HDMI 2.1 port for high quality video output, and a 40GB per second USB 4 port that comes with DisplayPort 2.1 and Power Delivery 3.0 capabilities. This means you can connect to multiple displays and even charge them quickly. Right next to that is a 10GB per second USB Type-A 3.2 Gen 2 port and an audio combo jack for your headphones or speakers. Moving to the right side, there is another 10GB per second USB Type-A 3.2 Gen 2 port, perfect for fast data transfer. You also get a 10GB per second USB Type-C 3.2 Gen 2 port that also support DisplayPort 1.4 and G-Sync, which is great for gamers looking for smoother visuals. And if you need to transfer files from your camera or smartphone, there is a handy microSD card reader too. When you are gaming, the screen is everything. If it's choppy or off, it can completely ruin the experience. But what if there was a display that made you forget that the screen is even there? That's exactly what the TUF A14's display feels like. With an IPS panel that boasts up to 165Hz refresh rate, it's built for smooth, lag-free gameplay. And yeah, some might miss that extra vibrancy, but honestly, but honestly, for most gamers, it won't be any problem. Now let's be real, this display isn't trying to be the king of color accuracy. It's sticking to the sRGB instead of that more expensive Adobe RGB or P3 color spaces. And it's here to give you exactly what you need: smooth gameplay, solid colors, and an experience that will let you focus on the game instead of the screen. However, one notable limitation is the absence of the HDR, a feature also reserved for its premium models like the Zephyrus G14. That said, the display still offers excellent color performance, boasting 99% coverage of the sRGB color space and 81% of DCI P3 color gamut. So if you had to choose between a screen that packs every high-end color features or the one just does work, what would you go for? For me, it's all about performance and immersion, and the A14's display nails that. What about you? G-Sync support adds to the gaming performance by reducing screen tearing, but there is a catch. Windows variable refresh rate is not supported. As a result, the refresh rates are locked at either 165Hz or 60Hz, meaning you can't dynamically adjust them to save power. While this won't be a major drawback during gaming, it could affect battery life during less demanding tasks. We have all been there, right? Trying to pick the right laptop configuration, enough RAM, enough storage, but not overdoing it on the specs. You want the best performance, but you don't want to pay for the things that you will never use. With this laptop, there is something interesting going on with the upgrades. It offers two M.2 SSD slots that can hold up to 2TB each, which is great. But then there is a twist: no RAM upgrades. Yep, the RAM is soldered in, making it a permanent feature. At first, that threw me off a bit. You can upgrade the storage, but you are stuck with what you choose for RAM, capped at 32 gigs of LPDDR5X running at 7500 MHz frequency. When I first saw that, I wondered, is that enough? But honestly, after using it, it felt like more than enough for my need, and probably for most other people's too. And sure, it's not perfect. If you were hoping to swap out the RAM later, you are just out of your luck dude. Still, I do wish they gave us the option to upgrade it down the road. Now cooling. Asus didn't just slap on few fans and call it a day. They have got 2 big fans, 3 heat pipes and all sort of heat spreaders working overtime, keeping things cool. You can almost feel the airflow just by looking at it. Everything designed to keep the system from overheating during those marathon gaming sessions. But does it actually work? Well, in a day-to-day use, the device stays surprisingly cool. Even when pushing it through the hours of gaming, it held its ground. Now let's move toward the performance section. You know, the performance section is a bit more professional and detailed, so we need a professional setting. Now let's move to the more professional setting. 1, 2. So we are back. So as I told you earlier, we are going to talk about the performance. So let's begin. The TUF A14's Ryzen 9 HX370 processor, oh, it's a beast. This thing is basically the flashiest of the 14-inch gaming laptop. It doesn't play nice, it crosses the Core Ultra 9 185H by a solid 30%. And honestly, after the whole meh experience with the Ryzen 8000H series, this is like a total comeback from AMD. In Cinebench R23's multi-core test, it scored a ridiculously 23,456 points, which is like getting a gold star and then kicking everything else score off the podium by up to 24%. So yeah, this thing can handle gaming, multitasking or whatever you want to throw at it. But wait, what about single core performance? Well, it's not amazing. It hits 1979 points, which is slightly below average, but then again, in the real world, you will hardly notice it because the A14 still holds its own. Now let's talk about the blender, because why not? The A14 knocked out a task in just 143 seconds, making it one of the quickest in its league. And if you thought that was all, nope. In the real world tasks, it's still flying, scoring 13,799 points in PC Mark 10. It's a bit below the high-end champs like the Razer Blade 14, but honestly, it's more than enough for gaming, creative work or whatever you are up to. Ever get frustrated with gaming laptops that promises a lot but can't quite keep up with your performance needs? You want something fast, reliable and won't break the bank? No small feat, right? That's where the TUF A14 with its RTX 4060 comes in the picture. At first, I wasn't sure if this laptop could deliver, but it definitely made me curious. Could a mid-tier GPU like the RTX 4060 actually keep up with my gaming demands without pushing my wallet to the edge? I ran some benchmark and wow, this thing is fast. It completed GPU test in just 40 seconds. It's not quite up there with the RTX 4070 or 4090, but it's like the dependable sidekick in the world full of flashy superheroes. And honestly, that's the kind of what I was looking for. Now don't get me wrong, it's not going to run on Ultra USD settings at ultra high graphics with everything cranked up to the max, but for 1080p gaming, it's smooth sailing. I ran GTA 5 and Dota 2, it's like the game was sliding on butter, hitting over 150 FPS. For the heavier titles like the Baldur's Gate 3 and Cyberpunk 2077, it handled high settings without a hitch, keeping everything running smoothly. Sure, you will need to adjust a few settings for higher resolution or demanding games, but that's not really a deal breaker. And at the end of the day, the TUF A14 with the RTX 4060 isn't trying to be top tier machine, but it delivers what matters, performance without paying the high price tag. It punches above its weight and does it quietly, offering great performance for 1080p gaming and more. How would the TUF A14 holds up when it comes to the sound, thermal, battery and the power consumption? And let's not forget the noise. It's almost always a factor with gaming laptops. So let's start with the sound. The audio is like a decent cup of coffee, nothing groundbreaking, but it gets the job done. At 75 decibel, it's loud enough to wake you up, but not quite enough to distract you from your business. The bass, well, let's just say it's a flat pancake. Not much depth there, but on the bright side, the mids are definitely cranked up, perfect for dialogue-heavy games or movies. And the highs, they are surprisingly balanced, so no screaming here. Honestly, it's the kind of sound that fills the background without stealing the show. And that's fine for everyday use, but don't expect to be impressed by it. When it comes to the thermals, the A14 isn't exactly a cool customer. Under pressure, it runs a bit on the warm side. The top plate gets up to 39.5 degrees Celsius when gaming. With a sizzle that can reach up to 50 degrees Celsius, the bottom gets even warmer. more like a radiator at 46 degrees Celsius. When you are just browsing or watching videos, it's pretty cool, sitting at around 27.6 degrees Celsius. Push it for gaming and it might make your lap feel like you are cooking breakfast. Learn pretty quickly that using a cooling pad helps a lot, so keep that in mind if you plan on long gaming sessions. Battery life, it's decent, but only if you don't push it too hard. With dimmed brightness and Wi-Fi off, you can squeeze up to 11 hours. But once you get into the regular use, browsing with Wi-Fi on, you are looking at around 6 hours. If you plan on gaming or doing anything demanding, you will be lucky to get 1 hour and 52 minutes of battery life. It's a common reality for gaming laptops, but it's still something you will want to keep in mind. Now on to the noise. The TUF A14 has two noise modes, silent and I'm trying to cool off. When you are just browsing or watching videos, it's pretty quiet, almost like 23 to 29 decibels. But as soon as you start gaming or pushing the laptop hard, the fan roars to life, reaching about 37 to 51 decibels. It's loud, yes, but necessarily to keep everything running cool, like a hair dryer fighting a tornado. It's not ideal, but it's reality with powerful gaming laptop. Finally, the power consumption. At the idle, it sips power like a crazy cat at 9.1 to 22.6 watt, but under heavy loads, it's a beast, waking up to 198 watts. If you plan on using it unplugged for anything intense, just know the battery will drain fast than you can blink. So let's be honest here, there's no perfect system. The sound won't win any awards, the thermals can get pretty hot, and battery life is pretty short during heavy gaming use. But overall, the A14 does what it set out to do. It's a solid machine for gaming, but don't expect to escape those common laptop issues. Imagine this, you are in the middle of a game, the fan starts to spin up, and you feel that heat building up underneath you. It's like the A14 is pushing itself to the limit, giving you all it's got to keep up. The noise gets louder, but it's almost like a battle cry, reminding you that it's doing everything it can to keep things cool and running smoothly. In the end, the A14 isn't going to blow you away with its audio or keep you perfectly cool for hours. But it's not trying to be perfect all-rounder. It's a gaming laptop and it's built to do that well. For the price, it holds its own. Even though it has its flaws, it gets the job done without major complaints. So here's the quick question. Would you sacrifice a bit of heat, noise and battery life for solid gaming performance and affordability? Or would you go for something quieter, cooler and long-lasting if it's mean giving up a bit of gaming power? For me, the A14 feels like a good compromise. But what would you do? So this part is only for people watching from Dehradun, Uttarakhand, and especially for Dehradun people. This laptop is provided to us by Digital Stores, which is one of the biggest laptop shop in Dehradun. Here you can find laptops from a lot of brands. If you want to know more about the store, then all the details are given below in the description box. So make sure to check it out. Alright, here's the deal. It's like that friend who shows up with a fancy new ride, promises his speed and look great on the surface. It's a reliable sidekick, not a performance hero. But if you are a pixel perfectionist or a hardcore gamer, well, my friend, maybe keep that add to cart finger twitching for something else. If you are interested in buying this laptop, then you can find the best buying links down below in the description box. I've gathered the top deals so you can get the best offer right there. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, then don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give it a thumbs up, because your support means a lot. Stay awesome and I will catch you in the next video.